Yo, y'all know what time it is. NCOPD Live, Wednesday nights, prime time. We in the building. TPSGL is ready to go. I want all the smoke. Let's do this.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of NCOPD Live, hosted by yours truly, Staff Sergeant Hicks, hashtag the professional SGL, coming at you live from Beaumont, Texas. Listen, we got a great show tonight, but before we even get started, I got one major shout out that I got to give to a very, very special individual in my life, my oldest daughter, LaPrasia. Tonight is senior night, and she's playing her final game as a senior at home at the University of Nevada. Baby girl daddy will be watching right after this show, okay? I think it starts like around by 7 o'clock. So that gives me time to, introduce my guests and have a great session. And then guess what? I got to jump right over to Mountain West Network. I'm going to be checking out my daughter. So the next thing I need to do is I need to tell my dad, so everybody know that my dad is a pastor. So Dad, I'm going to miss Bible study tonight. I need to get a slip to say that I can miss your Bible study tonight. But I got to go. I got to check out my baby girl. So definitely want to shout out my oldest daughter. I'm super excited about her senior year. She's finally getting ready to graduate this year, and I think she's gonna do her. They offered them another year to play, so she says she doesn't want to go and declare for the WNBA draft just yet. She wants to play another year. But whatever. She's the one in college. I'm not there, so I'm just super proud. Yes, I'm a proud dad, girl dad all the way. So that gives me another year. If she decides to play again, then, hey, I'll be there next year to check out her games. But listen, so tonight we have a phenomenal platform. Listen, y'all, we got the AUSA team is in the building. They're in the green room. They're ready. And listen, I hope you got your notepad, your pen and paper, your electronic devices, whatever you use to take care or take out notes, because I guarantee you these individuals are going to drop some gems tonight. So without further ado, our panel for the night, we have the very own SMA Daily, Miss Norma Helsman, and the one and only Susan Rubel. How are you all doing today?
We're doing great, Sergeant Hicks.
That's good. So listen, it's multiple guests tonight. So we normally get you, if you were by yourself, we would have something called like the 5-second rule or quick in 60. But since it's a couple of you all tonight, we're not going to play that tonight. So without further ado, the first thing I would like to do is give everyone an opportunity to introduce themselves, tell us who you are and the things that you do for AUSA, and then we'll jump right into it. We're going to go with SMA Daily, Miss Susan, and then we'll go with Miss Norma. Before we get started, if you do not notice, Miss Norma's camera is not working at the moment. I think she said it's at work or something like that. It's not working, but she's able to hear everything that you say, and she's going to be able to speak with you all directly. So without further ado, SMA, the mic is yours, sir.
Well, thanks again for having us back on the show, and especially to tell us a little bit about AUSA, and tell your audience a little bit about what we do at the Association of United States Army, and we'll get into that. But as I've said before on the show, I am humbled and honored to, after leaving the job as the SMA, to come to the United States Army's Association, Premier Association, and become the Vice President for NCO and Soldier Programs. So that's what I do for the Association of the United States Army.
Okay. Miss Susan, how are you doing tonight, ma'am?
Great, thank you. Hi,
Great. Tell us a
everybody.
little bit about yourself.
My name is Susan Rubel. I'm the Director of Insurance and Affinity Programs for AUSA. My background is insurance and group benefit programs. And I know this is mixed folks here, so I will say that I actually retired after 26 years of doing the same thing for the Air Force Association, for any Air Force folks that are on board tonight, but I'm thrilled to be doing this for the Army Association now. So,
Okay,
my role is to build an affinity program to offer savings and benefits to members.
So when I think of infinity, I think of to infinity and beyond.
And beyond, but this is
okay, so I'm not the only one. Okay, I really didn't want to sound corny. I was like, oh, they're gonna talk about
No, that's infinity. This is infinity.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, it's in the ballpark. Miss Norma, how are you doing, ma'am?
Oh, fine. And how's everybody? I'm Norma Helsham, and I work with NCO and Soldier Programs, Communication Social Media Program Manager. So if you get if you're a member of AUSA or if you're signed up, I put out the Soldier Today twice weekly, and so I've been with AUSA for about 4 years.
Okay. Okay, great. So first and foremost, welcome you all to the team. It's great to have you all on the platform, and I am looking forward to a great and excellent show tonight. And without further ado, SMA, I'm going to turn it over to you for opening comments. Mike is yours, sir.
I appreciate it, Sergeant Hicks, and thanks again for having us on the show. It seems like I'm a frequent flyer on the show here every once in a while now. And so first of all, before I get started, tell you a little bit about AUSA. I want to put a plug in there for Staff Sergeant Hicks because he's been so inspirational to many of us out here that have watched this show, as many of you out there know. And we wanted to help him highlight his accomplishments of building NCOPD Live, telling the non-commissioned officer professional development story, and just sharing experiences with great people he brought onto this show. So recently, and you can check these out for free, we did a story on Sergeant Hicks and the AUSA Extra column. Right? That's on AUSA.org. And actually, just this week, we did. I invited Sergeant Hicks to my podcast show. It's called Soldier Today. It's under the Army Matters podcast series at AUSA.org. You can just go to AUSA.org. Slip over to programs and events and slide down to podcasts, and you can download them for free. His podcast will be on next week. Should be the first week of March, or would that be the next week or the week after? Well, anyway, first week of March, and we'll send out through social media. We'll have it on hashtag at NCOPD Live as well as the professional SGL. So you'll have a lot of information on when it's going to be out there. But he tells the story from the very beginning. So if you haven't heard it, it's a great podcast. Tells a little bit about himself, his life, how he grew up, and the story of how he built NCOPD Live. So from all of us out here as your audience, Sergeant Hicks, I just want to tell you thank you for all you've done. And we had a pleasure taking an opportunity to highlight your accomplishments of putting together a phenomenal piece. But tonight, we're going to talk about Association United States Army. So Sergeant Hicks invited me on the show. He says, hey, let's tell the people a little bit more about what the Association United States Army does. Well, I could talk all night long about what the Association United States Army does, but more importantly, what does it do for our soldiers, our young soldiers and non-commissioned officers? Well, we do a lot of things. First, I want you to understand is where we came from. We were actually born from the Army, by the Army. The United States Army created AUSA 70 years ago. And the first president was actually the Vice Chief of Staff of the Army. And they did that to unify the different branches of the Army at the time. They were really branch parochial back then. And they had the Association of the Infantry and the Artillery, and all the other associations said, hey, we need one association to be the voice of the Army. So they created AUSA. A few years later, they transitioned it to a 501(c)(3) nonprofit organization, and they separated it so active duty members weren't running the organization. So we could do some of the things that we do now and still do today. One of those is, as I mentioned, we are the premier voice of the Army. We speak on behalf of the Army, Capitol Hill, to community, elected leaders, to the industry partners we work with every day on the very big level. But we also, our main mission is to educate, inform, and connect. And that's our constituents, who are our soldiers, their family members, our community partners. And we do that through 122 chapters across 7 regions and 2 additional overseas, because we're almost global, completely global, AUSA is. And we do that by partnering with local and national organizations to help support the Army's mission and tell the Army story, right? and help support the Army with what they need to do. So we do everything from supporting soldier programs to doing what most people are familiar with is the huge annual national conference in the Walter E. Convention Center in October. And we support things like the Army 10-mile run. But specifically in NCO and soldier programs, we focus solely on non-commissioned officers and soldiers. And what does AUSA do for our soldiers? One, as I said, we are your voice. We are your voice on Capitol Hill. We stay very connected with the leadership of the Army, the Chief of Staff, the Secretary, and the Sergeant Major of the Army. But we're also the voice to the people. We bring in the Sergeant Major of the Army to do podcasts. We bring them in to do noon reports. We do professional development series. In NCO and soldier programs, we do right now, because of COVID, virtual professional development series almost on a weekly basis with units all across the Army. We'll log in. We'll actually help you create and do your NCOPDs, kind of like what you do, but at a unit level. And we say we'll do it down to a squad, all the way up to a battalion or brigade if you want to.
Wow.
But I could go on and on and on about all the professional stuff. The one thing I would ask you to do, if you don't know anything about AUSA, people confuse us with USAA. They're a great company. They're an insurance company. That's not us. We're AUSA. Just Google us at AUSA.org and check us out, right? We're the oldest and largest military association in the United States, and we are your professional association. Every professional institution in America, whether you're a doctor or a lawyer, has a professional association that represents them. And we are the professional association that represents the professional soldier. But we also do a lot of other things. And I told you it would take me all night. But one thing I want to highlight tonight, and that's why we asked Susan, our affinity program manager, to come on, is all the cool goodies you get as a result of being a member of AUSA. Now, this isn't, she's going to tell you right up front, this isn't the reason why we want people to join, but it's a way we give back. Susan, I'd like to turn it over to you and talk about some of the affinity programs that we have at AUSA.
All right, to affinity and beyond. Yeah. So I'm responsible for some of the member benefits. Of course, so much of the benefits are the networking opportunities and the professional development opportunities. But the savings programs, they answer the what's in it for me question. But I really think most people at your level aren't really looking at what's in it for me. And we're looking for you because we need you. We need what you bring to the table. We need large numbers when we lobby on Capitol Hill because they don't want to know that we are representing the entire Army. They want to know how many members you have. And so the more members that we have, the stronger our voices when we're advocating for you, whether it's on Capitol Hill or even with the public. So it's really important for us to have you as part of our organization as well. But AUSA pulled me out of retirement about 3 years ago to ask me to build an affinity program that products and services that give our members discounts. Like you're probably familiar with, AARP with their 65 million members. So you've got all these companies that are, dying to give those members discounts because they're going to get so much new business out of it. So what I'd like to do, and I've never used this software that you use, is to share my screen and show you a little bit about it. So, and if you'll tell me if people are not seeing what I think they're seeing. Let's put it that way. I'm just going to do share screen real quick. Oh, please work.
Okay, I think we got you here.
Can you see savings?
It's up.
Oh, yay. Okay. What I wanted to start at is AUSA.org. And because this is really just a content powerhouse, please, I encourage you to spend some time on AUSA.org. There is so much information here, membership, the different types of members that we have. We have 122 chapters around the world, most in the United States. A lot of members tell me that that's one of their best benefits is they enjoy the participation one-on-one locally in the programs that the chapters have to help people locally. Meetings and events, we do so many large events. Right now, we're doing them all virtual. SMA Daly mentioned the Noon Report, which he'll talk about a little bit more. Of course, we publish Army Magazine, AUSA News, Soldier Today, a lot of information there. We do lobby. We have a lot of different programs on Capitol Hill, a lot of professional development opportunities. And we do have an area that focuses specifically on military families. A lot of focus is paid on the challenges for spouses to find relevant employment and the challenges of children. So our member benefits, whoops. Okay, so this gives you a rough idea of some of the companies that give our members discounts. When I reach out to these companies, I'm looking for a win-win. Can we see that?
Yes.
Okay. So what I'm asking them for is I want you to give our members a discount that they would not find on their own. I don't want them to be able to Google a promo code and find a better discount. I want you to pay something back to the association to support our programs, whether it's the money is going into our scholarships. Some of it goes specifically to NCO and soldier programs. Some go into family readiness, but we do ask them to pay back to us. And then the third win is we want them to generate some new business as a result. Now, I can't guarantee you that these are always going to be the best deals you're going to find. And there are a few who don't pay back. They are giving such a good discount. There just isn't a lot left for that. And some of them aren't seeing a whole lot of additional business because we're in the process of building this right now. So a lot of members don't know about it. Our members do get half-price Sam's Club membership. That tends to be one of the more popular ones. I think if I click these to access them, I don't think this software follows along with me, but so I won't do it. Another popular discount is our Office Depot discount. Quite a few members have told me it's a mystery what you're going to save there, but people have told me they've gone in and shopped at Office Depot, showed their AUSA Office Depot card. It's a separate card, and saved, $45, $50. I don't know how big the order was. We have a really excellent entertainment program where showing your military ID, for example, at Disney World is going to be the best discount. Nobody can beat that. But if you have other friends and family traveling with, ours is going to be the second best. We have discounts on movie theaters, Broadway tickets, sports, concerts. In the entertainment, they have a discount on eHarmony. Some people find dating entertaining. I did not find dating entertaining, but it is in there. In the travel area, we have discounts at pretty much every hotel chain. I hope you're not getting dizzy. I'm going to scroll down here to this wholesale hotel rates. They're very substantial discounts, and I have yet to find a brand that is not in there. There's Marriott, Hilton, Hyatt, Sheraton, even the little boutique hotels, they're in there. We have almost all of the car rental places. We do work with a couple of universities that offer discounts. And of course, you all get military discounts at so many places. So in many areas, I ask them to try to do that. And Red Roof is a good example. Red Roof, it's an economy brand. It's not for everybody, but for people traveling with pets, Red Roof is a great option because pets stay for free at Red Roof. Now, the military discount is 10%. Usually, sometimes they bump it to 15% during Veterans Day and other holidays. But we have a 20% evergreen. Our members always get 20% off. We have a new Costco offer. We have insurance programs. I'm going to stop sharing here. We had insurance programs that are going to be more appropriate probably after you transition or retire. We have a TRICARE supplement. We have life insurance and long-term care insurance. This year we'll be adding dental insurance and vision and pet insurance. So again, active duty has such good life insurance coverage. Most people don't need anything beyond that. And TRICARE supplements, though active duty family members sometimes want them, they're usually more for once you've retired. So lots of different things. Oh, let me share one more thing. I do want to share our career services very quickly. And you do not have to be a member to participate in this. So, but let me show it to you. A shortcut to get there is AUSA.org.
And Sergeant Hicks, you're retiring soon, so you might want to go on there and start looking for a job. You know what I'm saying?
I'm plugged in with you. We've been there, done that.
Yeah.
Can you all see this? Are you seeing Job Central?
No, if you share it back, I can see it up.
Let's see, share.
And then I have a few questions for you, ma'am, before we jump to Miss Norma.
Okay.
Okay.
Can we see it now?
Yes.
Oh, terrific. Okay. So when you come here, you can just enter any type of job that you're looking for. The employers that are in this job bank are looking for you. These are people who we are considered a niche job bank. And so they are looking for people with military experience for the most part. So you can search right here. And then you can set up an alert. Let me know when there are jobs that meet these parameters. I highly recommend this. If you intend to transition anytime in the next year, click upload resume. We work with Top Resume. They are a professional resume writing company, and they will, if you upload your resume within a couple of days, they'll send you a review and a critique. It's free, but don't let the word free lead you to think it's not worthwhile. I did it just for friends, not looking for a job, but I just wanted to see the quality of it. And what I really loved is they run your resume through the same applicant tracking systems that employers use. So you get a feel for what you look like to them at the end through this digital process, and you'll be surprised. You might not look the way you think you do. There's a lot of resources here to help you write your resumes. There's some interviewing tips, career advancement tools, and I should say that when you are building your resume here, there is an MOS translator to help you with the right words, so you know what civilians are looking for. If you did this in the military, you might not realize that you have all these skills that civilian employers are looking for. So it helps you write your resume. So just a lot, and you can use that now. You don't need to be a member. It's AUSA.org. Jobs Central will redirect you to the website.
So one question I did see, that was the first one. Does the Army Times have any reading material about AUSA? Have the Army Times ever done an article on the AUSA or where they can go and find that?
I will tell you that that our members get a discount on Army Times, so definitely take advantage of that. But up to SMA, I don't know.
I'm sure. Well, I'm sure they have at some point. Of course, they mention us, because especially they do articles during our annual event. Which again is designed to bring together the collaboration of leadership and industry and international partners together. So there's a lot of talks that go on during the annual event that I know that Army Times is always in there covering. So I'm sure they have in some time throughout the history of the Army Times. But one of the things that Susan just quickly mentioned too when she was going across the screen is most people don't know is that we actually write the Army magazine for the Army, right? So we have the entire editing team. And they're phenomenal. And we are the creators of Army Magazine for the United States Army. We distribute it, obviously, to all of our members for free as part of the membership as well.
Okay. One other question we have here is how do you interact with the reserve component soldiers in the communication with USARC, with the USARC staff?
Yes, absolutely. So we consider it one Army. It's not just the active force. It is a whole component, all three component Army, and they're all soldiers. And we work very hard to make sure that we represent the Guard, Reserve, and active duty. For example, a lot of things that I do for the NCO and professional development forums, like the noon reports and the podcast, we just had the SMA on, the National Guard Sergeant Major Sampa, and the Army Reserve Sergeant Major Lombardo. I just did a piece that's already up on our website about with the DC National Guard during the same week of the atrocities we had at the Capitol building, telling the story of the soldier and what the soldier was there and how they respond to those kind of things. So we work very hard to make sure we represent. The reason why we have 122 chapters is throughout the United States and the world is so we can be on those places that soldiers are. Most of those chapters are not necessarily right next to a major military installation. They're out in communities, and they work hard to stay connected with our recruiters, our National Guard, and Army Reserve stations that are out all across the United States, and many have them have very close and strong relationships. So I promise you, if we're not exactly where every soldier is in America, we're really close, and we got somebody that can reach out and touch those people.
Okay, well then I got a question directly from a recruiter right here. It says,
yeah.
when we are talking with new soldiers and their families, how can we communicate this to our younger generation?
That's a great question. And to be very honest with you, and Susan and I alluded to it, we don't want you just to join AUSA for some kind of benefit. That's what we do as a benefit to our members. And that's why Susan works so hard to work with these companies to give discounts, right? Because that's a give back to our members. We want you to join because you find a value proposition to be a member of AUSA, right? Mm-hmm. And we know that as generations move on, they're not necessarily as closely associated to membership with organizations like there has been in the past. And what the big problem is, it's about communication. When I talk to young soldiers, they've never even heard of AUSA. And they don't know that they have an organization that represents them and works hard to support them. Now, we support the Sergeant of the Army, the soldiers at the highest levels for the best warrior competition, but our chapters are supporting battalion and brigade and post-level NCO and Soldier of the Month, doing events. I did a phenomenal story in AUSA Extra about in Colorado Springs, where the soldiers and the chapter gathered presents from all over the community in bicycles and then rucked them in on Christmas Day into the base to set up for the Santa's workshop on the base for families, especially, and military families that were affected by COVID, because many of them, their spouses lost their jobs and they needed help during the holiday season. And they raised like $10,000 worth of gifts and bicycles to give to our service members, all through the help of a collaboration between our soldiers and our local chapter there at Pikes Peak. So like I said, we could tell you endless stories of support that we do. But you know what? I wanted to take this opportunity because Norma's on, and she is she's the one that creates Soldier Today magazine that goes out twice a week, which is another benefit that is directly focused on junior non-commissioned officers and soldiers. Norma, could you quickly highlight what you do?
Yeah, so I put out a newsletter every bi-weekly, and usually we have like military history. This day in military history is educational. And also we put on our cloud and health and fitness. Also study topics for the junior soldiers, and also fun facts, some humor. So it's a little bit of everything. And I asked if you're a member, if you're getting Soldier Today, and if you have any articles that you feel that it's worth telling to our readers, that's educational, shoot us an email.
Yeah, so it's for soldiers, written by soldiers. It's a real easy read. It goes out. It's free. It goes out twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and it covers everything from boards questions to obviously the fun facts, messages from the senior leadership of the Army, and then this day in history, which are really fun, and famous people. And then we also carry the themes of the months of the year. So Black History Month. Next month, we're going to recognize women in history. So you'll see a lot of themes in the Soldier Today's twice weekly distributions covering those things as well. But like Norma said, the great thing is you send me or Norma or anybody to AUSA and say, hey, I'd like to highlight this soldier story, or just any story that relates to what we do, educate, inform, and connect the Army with its constituents. We'll run it in Soldier Today, just like we ran the story in AUSA Extra about Sergeant Hicks and the great things he's doing at NCOPD Live. Yeah.
So that was one of the questions I have. So I have a plethora of questions, but I love to get my followers' questions because I can talk to you guys offline. I have connection to you guys. So as a recruiter, how can we find an AUSA representative in our area if we are nowhere near an Army postal installation?
Great question. All right, you can send it to me, Susan, anybody here at AUSA. All of us are very easy to get a hold of. It's just our first initial, our last name at AUSA.org. So mine is D Daily, that's with an EY at the end, DAILEY at AUSA.org. Tell us where you are. What we'll do is we'll get with a guy named John, and he will reach out. He's in charge of all of our chapters, and he will reach out and connect you with a local chapter and a representative and a person that can come out and help. We actually have an MOA signed with the United States Army to help the recruiting effort across the United States of America. It's one of our missions that we help. It's one of the things that we do for the United States Army. So we'd be more than happy, and I promise you our chapters would be more than happy to hear from you. And if you need help, just send us a note. You can find us all on the website too at ausa.org, and we'll get you connected with a local chapter.
There's also a chapter link on the website. You can just click chapters at the top, and you can search out the representatives that way as well.
Okay, great. So I even see Troy's in the he's in the comments answering questions. So that's great, sir. I appreciate it. So even not feeling good, he's still on the job. Soldiers. So
Norman, I said that too. He can't stay away. So he wasn't feeling good. I told him to stay home, his boss, but he's the director of NCO and soldier programs. And I know that he misses out because he wanted to tell you all about the things that he does. And he does a phenomenal job along with Norma and NCO and soldier programs of really supporting whatever the Sergeant Major of the Army and all the senior sergeant majors want us to do to support their programs all across the Army. And if we can't do it at the national level, we can get our chapters to engage, like I said, at the local level and help out. But
okay. So one of the questions I had, because I don't think y'all don't see any more. Okay, so I'm pretty sure they're gonna start asking. So I have a couple of questions for you, Miss Susan Rubel. So you spoke about the first thing I wanted to ask you is, how do I become a member? Let's start at the basics. How do I become a member? What do I need to do?
The easiest way is to go to ausa.org, click membership at the top, and then you can choose what category suits you, probably an individual member. And also families get discounted members. So if you have wife or you want to go ahead and sign up your children, and we don't just say immediate family, your aunt, your uncle, any family members can join for $10 versus the $20 a year. It's a 2-year membership for $40 for an individual. But doing the online application is probably the fastest way.
Okay.
And for junior soldiers, it's only a $10. Right. It's for cadets and junior soldiers, it's only a $10 annual membership. And just a little tidbit out there, if you took advantage of 1 or 2 of the affinity programs that Susan put together, you'd get your membership back twice at just that one time.
One hotel stay. I was doing a demonstration for one of our chapters. I was doing a benefits presentation and on the wholesale hotel program, and I just happened to pick Washington, D.C., and it was right before the inauguration, and the Trump Hotel came up as one of the options, and the savings was something like $350 a night if you wanted to stay at the Trump Hotel. So it's very good pricing in that program. Definitely worth checking out.
And if you have something you don't see on this, I guess I'm going to call out Susan tonight, but send Susan a note and say, hey, see if you can get us an affinity program with this person. He does a phenomenal job of reaching out to these companies and telling the story of what we do. And to be honest with you, most companies, they're more than willing to be able to give our members a discount because they know how the long-standing history of AUSA and what we do for our soldiers and their families.
I'd love to hear your ideas of what you'd like to see.
Yeah, that was one of the questions I was going to ask. I pretty much know the answer, but I wanted to make sure the followers knew. I'm real big on a person being tangible. How tangible are you all to the follower that may have questions after the show? And you all said you gave your emails out to say, hey, contact us directly. I will tell you this. I will put a plug in. That is true. SMA, no, I'm going to tell this story again. I reached out and I actually called the office and I got with Miss Victoria, and that's how him and I got linked. It was within a matter of I think you were on the road somewhere going back to Pennsylvania. I think as soon as he got the message, 10 minutes later, he called. Now, I'm not saying SMA is going to call you.
You got to give me credit from the car. I actually called you driving.
Called me from the car. And hey, I'm willing to do this. So make sure you look at their emails. And if you all, before the show ends or when the show ends, if you all don't mind going in the comments and placing your emails there so they can see you. Another question I wanted to ask is, you spoke about scholarships. Who are the scholarships available to you, and how do they go and apply for those scholarships if need be?
That's one of the best member benefits. Last year we gave away more than $325,000. And a dirty little secret, we don't have that many people applying for scholarships, and we have a lot of money to give away. So if anyone in your family is needing some scholarship money. We even have one that's for people who have already graduated and need help with their student loan debt. So you do have to be a member. So even if it's it's a senior in high school, we're going to ask them to pay the $10 to have a family membership to apply for the scholarship. But it's an outstanding program. And there's a lot of different ones. Some of them are specifically for STEM. Some of them are specifically for active duty family members. There's some guidelines on each of them.
So just to clarify, so if my youngest son, he's got a couple more years before he'll be ready to come out of high school, maybe a few more years, he has to be an actual member. He can't go off of dad, right? He has to have his own family membership. Mm-hmm. In order
only $10 though. You can spring for it.
I'll pay the $10 for him. but just so everybody, the followers are tracking that individual family member has to have their own membership to go and apply for the loan. I mean, not the loan, but the scholarship. Now, is that on the website? If it is, could you pull that back up and show them how to get to that if you don't mind?
Sure. Oh, yeah. I'm going to share again. Tell me if it's working.
Susan is the expert. While she's doing that too, she's the expert. And she's right. She told the little secret. We actually want more people to apply for our scholarships. And we work hard to go out to those industry partners that we work with and community partners. And they're more than willing to help us raise money to give scholarships. But you got a pretty good chance. Now you got to have, we want you to have good grades, right? We want you to write a nice little thing. It's not just free money, but we want more people applying for our scholarships because, frankly, it's what I talked about earlier. Most people don't know about AUSA. It's because they're just not educated. And as leaders, we shouldn't try to convince our soldiers to be members of things they don't want to, but we should tell them about their professional organization, at least give them the opportunity to know about it and be informed about it so they can make an informed decision versus an uninformed decision, right?
Okay, and we'll go to you, ma'am, and then sorry, SMA, I got a couple more questions so we can kind of give a more in depth of what do you have to do to apply. But go ahead, ma'am, take it away.
Can you see it? Are you seeing this? Okay, so you can see we do have some STEM scholarships. If anyone is studying anything in the medical arena, it doesn't have to be dental. There's a $2,000 scholarship. There's two $10,000 scholarships. We actually, one of our affinity partners is Trident University, and they provide 3 full ride scholarships.
Could you say that one more time?
At Trident University,
yes,
we have 3 full ride scholarships valued up to $48,000 each that we give away each year, and that's through our affinity partnership with them. That's remember I said we asked them to pay back in order to be an affinity partner. That's what they pay back. They offer 3 full ride scholarships every year, and so that's a wonderful benefit. And again, these are member benefits. They're and the shortcut to get there is ausa.org/scholarships. And I think that we're going to start accepting applications early April. So I think you can start working on the applications now, but I think the official date is April. I could be wrong about that. I haven't looked at that page.
Okay, while you're looking at that, so another great question that came up: are active duty service members eligible for scholarships? I'm working on a doctorate and almost out of the post 9/11 GI Bill.
That's a great question, Susan. That's a great question for you. This is how
I don't know. I'm not a scholarship person, but I don't see why not. Let me. Tay Gibbons, is that who's asking that?
Yes.
Well, here's what we'll do. If we don't get the answer for you tonight, we'll get you an answer and send it to you. Promise you that.
Then SMA.
Because we're always creating new scholarships too. If our partners, that help us, that donate funds to our scholarships too, and if we see that as a need, it's something we can work on. I can't promise it, but that's something we can give to the scholarship team. And Troy is one of those. Troy is saying yes.
He's saying yes.
Troy is saying yes because he actually sits on the scholarship team. He's part of it.
Oh, who knew?
Troy's saying yes. So yes, you can.
So Tay Gibbons, if you look back up in the comments, his email was up there. If you want any more information, email him on that question that you have. and he will be able to square you away. So there was another question, like they're coming in. So one thing, so SMA, so I got a text from the admin said, you're typing in the private comments. If you look on the side over, if you see comments and then private comment, if you type in comments, they'll actually see your comments that you post up yourself.
Yeah, see, that's why I'm not new age, man. I
normally don't look at my phone when people are texting me because they try to send their questions on the slide. But what about children? What about children out of high school but attending trade schools? Can they apply for these scholarships as well?
That's another great question, and that's why Troy's online. So, let's get to and I don't want people to think we don't know what's going on. There's so much going on at AUSA that we're all specialists in our own little areas, and we all have knowledge, obviously, about what each other does, and we work together and collaborate. But that's why Troy is so educated in this area, because he actually sits on the scholarship committee of AUSA. That's one of the things he does. But all of us, along with our primary responsibilities, have secondary responsibilities. So you just saw him pop up in there, and Troy says yes. The answer to that question is yes. So, like Susan said, go on the webpage, ausa.org. It lists them all in there, lists the requirements and when you have to apply for them. And there's phenomenal scholarships. And like she said, we don't always get enough people to apply for those things. So you have a really good opportunity to get a scholarship, and we're always trying to add more. And
I think that's great that you brought that up, and we caught that, because I'm pretty sure that there's not a lot of people that knew about the scholarship. So the one thing I want to do before we move on and talk about some other topics of discussion is that I would like to ask everybody that's here. Now, we're not here trying to pressure anybody to join, but we would like everybody to hear that if you are not a member, to consider looking on the website and looking at some of the things that they have to offer. Some of the things that they have to offer not only benefits the program and benefits yourself, but like they were saying, it benefits your children as well. So I would like to encourage, if you are not a member, to definitely consider being a member of the AUSA platform tonight. If you haven't looked into it, do me the favor to go and take a look at that between tonight and tomorrow. And then if you happen to decide that you want to be a member, I want you to come back to this this viewing after it's done, and I want you to put in the comments, I am now a member of AUSA. That way we can definitely see the progress, because like they said, they're speaking on our behalf, and a lot of times we don't know these things because we just don't have the knowledge to know that they're out there. These individuals are taking time to put this great information out there. I think it would be beneficial if we would all go and at least consider to be a member and then become a member down the road. So I definitely think I'd like that about the scholarships, because I'm telling you right now, I'm talking to my kids, like, y'all need to go get your membership.
And the way I always say is, like I said, we don't want to force people to be members. What we want to do is educate them about the professional organization, and you should make the choice. If there's something here for you at AUSA, become a member. If there's not, then don't. That's fine. And here's the great thing. Most of our stuff is free to people who aren't members, right? Because that's our job, is to educate, inform, and connect our soldiers. So we're still going to make sure that we take care of our soldiers, support the chain of command locally and nationally. But of course, we do want your membership. We want you to be part of our professional organization. We want you to be part of the organization that represents United States Army.
I'd like to interject too, because you were just talking about families and tying it to the affinity programs. Of course, you guys are already eligible for military discounts at Dell, but if anybody's in the market for any new electronics with our program, you'll shop on the Dell military site, but we're going to give you a coupon for an additional 10% off the military pricing. So little things like that, can help for back to school time and all of this working remotely. We're all buying a lot of new electronics and accessories. So
I would tell you this. So before we go on to the next topics of discussion, I did not know that I'm a Sam's Club member, and I didn't know that. And I'm putting it out there. The TPS, I did not know that they would honor members of AUSA at Sam's Club. So it just goes back to saying, like, hey, when you hear this information, you gotta, I don't want to use the word take advantage of it, but use the opportunities that are out there for you as a soldier or a service member or even a family member. You just never know what's available to you unless you ask the question, because I did not know. And I will tell you next time I go to Sam's, I got my AUSA card. Sure remember.
Oh, you bring up a good point, though. Yeah, because unfortunately, you can't access them that way. I wish that you could, if you could just show your AUSA membership card. But there's different links you have to follow too. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, the Sam's Club is only for new members, so you'll have to put it in someone else's in your family's name. I mean, they don't do renewals for it. I
still didn't know that. So I learned a couple of things on that. I learned about the scholarship. And then I also learned about the different benefits that are there that the other companies that you all work with, as far as giving back to those service members. So I definitely, like I said earlier, I want to definitely put a plug in here real quick. If you are not a member of AUSA, definitely consider being a member. Go check out the website, look at the things that they have to offer, and then if you would like to become a member. Like they said, it's real easy. Go to the website and then definitely consider becoming a member. Definitely a lot of educational things going on AUSA. They talked about the Soldier Today, and they talked about the Army magazine. And we're going to get ready to transition here in a second. So non-AUSA question, however, what is the best piece of advice you have ever received from a junior soldier or a mentor? Okay, I'll
run it. Yeah.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever received? So you were from the Air Force side, ma'am. So I want to get your opinion on this too. I don't want to just focus on Army, because I do have an Air Force population that watch. So I'm going to ask all of you all the question: what is the best piece of advice you have ever received from a junior soldier or mentor?
And who are you asking?
I'm asking you. I'm asking man. I'm gonna even ask Ms. Norman. Norman's just kind of like flying by right now. She's,
yeah, they don't ever give me advice. I think I better pass on that, because I don't have the day-to-day engagement with soldiers like most of you all do. So
okay,
I'll have to say no.
You want to take that question?
Yeah, of course. I'm ready for that question. I've said this publicly, that even up until the point I was done being the Sergeant of the Army, and as the Sergeant of the Army, I had junior mentors, soldiers that were junior to me that I considered mentors, right? And that's, I think, important. Humility is one of those things you have to remain humble, right? Because you can learn something for everybody. But one of my top 10 actually came from a junior soldier, and it's the number 10. And it's the number. It's the one I'm most passionate about, and that is never forget. And don't you ever forget that you're just a soldier, no better and no worse than any other, just a soldier, and that's enough.
Okay,
love it.
Ms. Norma, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just trying to think of what I'm just thinking right now.
Okay, so I'll take it while she's thinking. So the best piece of advice that I got was from a previous student of mine while I was at the academy, and the student came and told me, she said, "Hey, I love the way you are. Don't ever forget where you come from." And because I try to keep Private Hicks in front of me. A lot of people don't know this, and we're gonna move on. But a lot of people don't know this, but I keep PFC and Private Hicks in front of me, because whenever I'm making a decision, whether I'm going live on the platform or things that I would want to know as a private or as a young leader, that's what I try to build this platform around. I wouldn't have known as a young private about AUSA and the things that they have to offer to be if you are a member. So when I know about AUSA now, I knew as a private, I would have wanted to know about this. So that was the best piece of advice that I have ever gotten. And it was from a previous student back in 2018. And it was like spot on. I keep Private Hicks in front of me whenever I'm making a decision, because I wanted to know about certain things and I just didn't have the opportunity. And now that I've built this platform, this is my way of giving back.
That's great.
Admin note, Sergeant Hicks, I figured out why I can't respond on the comments. So just to prove I'm not that computer illiterate,
okay.
I figured out why. I think you have to have a Facebook account, don't you?
Yeah, that would help.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to do it either. I was going to put my email address up there, but I can't either. It's not you.
I'll put it in the private comments. They'll paste it. They'll copy and paste it into.
She's going to have to do it for me because I can't. So can I quickly explain why I don't have a Facebook account? This is actually so it's not. I'm not anti-Facebook. I did have one a long time ago when I was the SMA. I had one, but Facebook actually asked me to take it down because there was 40 to 50 fake ones a week being created, and they couldn't stop it. Right. So they said the easiest thing to do was just take it down. So here's a message to your listeners. If you're friends with me on Facebook, you're not friends with me. You're friends with somebody probably trying to steal your money. So unfriend me on Facebook. You won't hear many people say that, but unfriend me on Facebook because it's not me. I promise it's not me.
Wow.
Since you brought it up, there's a rumor out there. There's a rumor, and I would love for you to address the rumor control. There's a rumor out there that you are an admin of WTF.
Yes, I know. That was a rumor, actually, that went on for a while. And I remember the day my public affairs officer walked in my office as the SMA, goes, hey, we're getting a lot of questions about you being the administrative person in charge of WTF moments. And he goes, what do you want me to do about it? And so the answer to the question is, no, I'm not the editor or chief editor. I said, don't respond. Just let it roll. Let people think I am.
Let it roll. Okay.
But for the audience out there, I've never been the editor of WTF. And they asked me to come on and they do the Ask Me Anything kind of things on there. And I said I wouldn't do it because, again, I'm not a hater, but I could not condone what the acronym stands for. And that's not appropriate. So I know there's a lot of soldiers on there, but I've never been the editor. And I've never done anything with those folks.
Yeah, I'll tell you something offline too. I'll call you probably next week and tell you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that acronym was "Why the Face."
We'll call it that. We'll call it that. Ms. Norman, did you have a piece of advice that was given to you by a junior soldier or mentor before we go on?
Yeah, well, I've been retired for like almost 9 years now, but what I've experienced is in soldiers that we led, like I'll get emails or they reach out to me on Facebook or in Messenger, and they usually just say thank you for mentoring them, and they in return take what I have, I guess they take my leadership style back then to mentor and guide their soldiers, because a couple of them have become like CSMs, and so I guess I always took care of them, and so they came back and just kind of like thanked me, and then they also in return did the same for their soldiers, so that's yeah. So that's the only thing I can think of. Yeah, that and this is just like in the every once in a while you hear from somebody from years ago. I mean, I got I was in Korea or in Fort Lewis, like back in 85 to 89. I heard from a soldier, one of my soldiers back then in the last 5 years, and that's like almost like 30 years ago, or or 25 years. Yeah. So I think that's
that's legacy.
Yeah. So I mean, but knowing that they've also they become leaders themselves. You know what I'm saying? So so I think that makes you feel good that you did something. Like, oh, okay, I did. I did something, or and they also in return, become mentors probably to other soldiers in their career.
What's the cliche statement? If you can reach one, you've done enough. But it's true. If one person can call you and say, I remember when you took care of, remember SMA, remember the one time when I had you on the show, I said, one of my battle buddies wanted me to tell you that day that you were SMA, you came into the DFAC and you was asking, hey, why can't I have toast or something at the DFAC? And it inspired her that you were concerned about individuals having toast or whatever it was that you were asking about. And that she remembered that.
They just wanted toast. The soldiers wanted some toast.
Yeah. So it's something like that. It's something like that. It's the small things that stick with people that it would cause them to remember, hey, I remember when you know, Miss Norma did this or Miss Susan or SMA did so and so and so and so.
You don't have to be rich and you don't have to be rich and powerful to do something important to somebody else. I can tell you that right now. You don't. You can make a difference. Everybody can.
I'm not rich and powerful. Not by a long shot.
You are powerful. You're hashtag professional SGL.
I would love to be impactful and influential before I be powerful. So
I like what Gene McKinney wrote in the chat. Be the leader that you wish you had.
Yeah. Gene is a good friend too and a great man.
I want to talk about before we get off.
We can't go on too long tonight. Your baby girl's playing basketball, and you're gonna make me feel bad if you miss that game.
So the one thing I want to talk about before we close out is talk to us about Noon Report. How do we find it? What is it about? And how are we able to watch it? And then we'll go into closing remarks.
Absolutely. Real quick. So the Noon Report series came as a result of COVID, right? Because we used to do, and we are going to get back to a lot of in-person events. And we don't just do the annual event. We do events all year long, both here and internationally as well. But we wanted to bring something to our members because, you know, we couldn't do these in-person events. So we created what was called the Noon Report to bring senior leaders, hot topic issues to the people who are members, our soldiers, our partners. So for an example, just today at noon, I had on the Enlisted Talent Management Task Force. So there's Talent Management Task Force that works for the Chief of Staff, the Secretary, and the Sergeant of the Army are doing all these initiatives. And they came on for an hour at noon and talked about all the things that they're doing to improve talent management and the recent changes and the initiatives they're doing to manage non-commissioned officers. The great thing about the Noon Report is it's live and interactive. So you go on our website, you look when the next Noon Report is, you sign up, you register, right? And then you can actually ask questions. So about every quarter, we have the chief, the sergeant major of the Army, senior leaders. We got the Army G coming up next, and that it's on the schedule up in there. And you can come in there and you can actually interact just like you can here, and you can go on and ask questions. And I'll sit there with the sergeant major of the Army, and your question will come up, and people can vote on your question and move it to the stack. And I'll ask the Sergeant Major of the Army live, and I'll give you credit if you put your name on there. I'll say, Sergeant Hicks from Texas is saying he wants to know this, right? Mm-hmm. If you don't get to ask your question, honestly, because when you get the SMA and like the chief on there, we get lots of questions. Here's what we do, and I just did it a few hours ago, is I take all the questions that were sent in by the participants, and the SMA gets them. The chief gets them. The Talent Management Task Force today, they got every single question that was asked, who it was from, and they'll reach out and they'll answer every one of those. So it's just it's a new thing we brought virtually, and now it's been popular. So we're going to probably keep it even when we go back to live events, and then we're going to make them hybrid too. So when we have the SMA downstairs in our conference center, before the only way you could see them is if you came to breakfast. In the future, what we might do is we'll fill the room full of people and soldiers, but we'll also extend that out virtually through the Noon Report series or something like that. And we do a bunch of them. So you got to check out our website. There's a thought leader series. There's a Noon Report series. We do a hot topic series. And there's a whole bunch of good things in there that are relevant to junior soldiers and then the most senior people and senior leaders and community members and partners and family members. So we have a whole family programs that Susan and I didn't even get to talk about tonight. So there's something for you at AUSA.org. And if there's not, then that's okay. But here's what I'm going to offer you. If there's not something for you, send it to me or Susan or any one of us, and we'll try to make it happen within the limits of reason, law, and all those other good things. But if there's something you think your association should be doing for you, I am all ears, and I promise you that. And I will work endlessly along with Troy and Norma and Susan and the whole team here at AUSA. If it's the right thing to do, we'll figure it out. Now, again, there's a limit to what we can do, but we want to hear from you. We want to know what your association wants to do with you. We want to become relevant to you. We want to be a value proposition for all those soldiers and families out there. Susan, did you want to say any closing?
I just agree wholeheartedly. We have meetings about this all of the time at the office. We're not relevant as we should be to younger soldiers, and what are we missing? And quite honestly, younger folks today don't join associations like they did back in the olden days, because back then you joined for access to information, and you have it all over the place with the internet now. So we'd love to hear from you of what you need from your professional association. How can we fill a gap you may have? Because we may have the the size to be able to do it. We'd love to hear from you.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, we will go ahead and give you all final thoughts and closing comments. Ms. Norma, we'll start with you. Ms. Susan, we'll go to you, and then SMA will go to you all. I got baby girl's game up, so it hasn't started yet, so I'm good. So, but I don't want to rush you all, but we're going to start with you, Ms. Norma. The mic is yours, ma'am.
Okay, I just want to thank everybody, and also if you like Susan said, if you just gonna come to our website, there's so much information you can get from our AUSA.org.
Okay, Ms. Susan.
Yeah, thank you for having us, and thank you for this whole broadcast. This was fascinating for me. I've never served in the military, so thank you all for your service. And my exposure has only been through working for nonprofits that support the military. So thank you all for your service.
SMA.
Well, I've talked a lot about AUSA tonight, so I won't mention anything else about that. I want to thank Susan and Norma for coming on the show and help me do my best to try to explain just a little portion of what we do. But I also want to shout out to Troy. He's not feeling well. He was going to be on the show tonight. But he's doing better, is what he said today. He does so much for our non-police officers and soldiers. And then lastly, Sergeant Hicks, for you, I'd ask you, please check out the podcast that we're going to release next week or the week after, the Professional SGL, NCOPD Live, the story of how he got started and why. And they also talks about where it's going to go in the future. So tune in. He's done a phenomenal job, as you know. You tune in, you watch him all the time. He's so good at this. He did a wonderful job. Now, the podcast is just audio, but a great thing to listen to while you're studying for a promotion board or doing the laundry or PT while you're running some PT. Not in uniform, though, because I don't think you're allowed to wear headphones in uniform, but you are in the gym because somebody brought that to you, right? Sergeant Hicks, thanks for having us on the show tonight. It's always a pleasure. You know, I'm always looking for the next time I'm going to be invited back, and I would love to come back.
My parting comments would be, so first of all, shout out Troy, Command Sergeant Major retired Welch is in the comments, still doing his job. That is a dedicated leader right there. Just even not feeling at the best, not 100%, but still being able to come on and answer some of these questions that were in the comments. So I definitely appreciate that. One of the things I just like to do is ask that whenever you all have some time at your leisure, if there was a question that we missed, feel free to go back and answer it at the same time. Post your email comments to the private chat, and we'll put them into the comments. I would like to thank each one of you all tonight, Ms. Norma and Ms. Susan, and even you, SMA, for taking time out of your schedule to come onto the show. There's only 3 individuals that have an open invitation to in NCOPD Live. That's Chief Master Sergeant Bass. There's the G1. And then there's who's the other one?
That's Troxel. SEAC Troxel, right?
Yes, SEAC Troxel. And so, like, anytime that there's something brewing that's going on, that those individuals can come and say, and we'll make a special edition. So tonight I'm gonna do this on air, that if there's anything that's new, that's out there, that's hot topics that you would like to come on and let us know, you all have the email. Just email Ms. Veronica. We will get you all scheduled and get you all as an open invitation to come back onto the platform as well. If there's anything that we can push that you all want us to advertise onto the page, send it to us in the Gmail account, and then we'll make sure that we get it out there with our new marketing director, Ms. Kia B. She'll get it out there. And lastly, anybody that's listening, I know a lot of people like to call me, and even my admin team, if you're looking the next hour or so, I'm not going to answer any calls. Baby girl's getting ready to play.
Good for you.
So, y'all know the motto. If you see anything wrong and you fail to do if you fail to do something about it, then you have just created a new standard. And at the end of the day, their issue is never with you, but their issue is with the standard. This has been yours truly, Staff Sergeant Hicks, hashtag the Professional SGL, along with my special guest, Miss Norma, Miss Susan, and the one and only SMA, retired Daniel Daly. We'll be seeing you all next week. Everybody have a good night, and we'll talk to you later. That is.
Yo, y'all know what time it is. NCOPD Live, Wednesday nights, prime time. We in the building. TPSGL is ready to go. I want all the smoke. Let's do this.